BHP has admitted it has underpaid almost 30,000 workers, hundreds of millions of dollars going all the way back to 2010. The miner says it will cost more than $400 million to make amends. Senior business correspondent Peter Ryan joins me now in the studio. Peter, how did this happen?
Well, Karina, this is just so widespread. We're seeing this problem of worker underpayments right across business, even government agencies. We've seen the Commonwealth Bank, for example, hit with this. Qantas, Woolworths, even our employer, the ABC, has been caught up in worker underpayments. And what's happened in the case of BHP is that they have incorrectly deducted from workers' salaries leave for when they worked on public holidays. And this wasn't meant to have happened. So they've conducted a thorough audit. They've worked out this is a major issue. They've self-reported to the Fair Work Ombudsman, and now they're in the situation where they're having to pay back $280 million US dollars. That's around about 400 million Australian dollars. It's a sizable amount. Some might say it's a drop in the ocean for a big company like BHP, which is the world's biggest miner. But it does show that given the period of 13 years, these underpayments really can creep up and ratchet up very quickly.
What has the company said to its employees?
Well, basically, BHP's Australian president has said, we made a mistake, we're sorry, we're wanting to set this right. And it's a huge reputational issue for a company like BHP because they always like to say that they have ethical codes of conduct, they treat their reporters fairly. Whenever we're getting a results briefing, the welfare of workers is always one of the first things that the chief executive talks about. So this is a big black eye for BHP, and they're now in the company of a range of other organisations, businesses, as I mentioned, some government agencies that have been caught up in this big problem, which isn't wage theft, but it means that these companies haven't been able to calibrate or manage their systems to ensure that people are paid correctly. And there are a lot of companies at the moment having to spend millions, tens of millions of dollars updating their systems so their workers do get paid properly.
As you say, this is just the latest in a string of corporate underpayments in Australia. So can we expect more companies to uncover these kind of underpayments?
Well, you can bet that there are companies all around Australia at the moment that are conducting their own audits to make sure that they haven't inadvertently underpaid. Now, the Fair Work Ombudsman's been really active in this and making sure that companies step forward, as happened in the case of BHP. But I've just been reading an interesting statement from the Industrial Relations Minister, Tony Burke, who's made the point that only a week or so ago, BHP was out publicly saying that their employment practices were impeccable and the government didn't need to be closing down any loopholes to protect wages or workers. And Tony Burke in this statement is saying that's clearly not true, and BHP, like many other companies, need to do a better job to make sure that their workers are properly paid.
Okay, Peter Ryan, thanks for explaining it all to us.